And welcome to the Losers Lounge.
Wow.
This is the bottom three Losers Lounge of the year. Bottom three. I think you go Washington, Portland, and then this.
Wow. Yeah, I forgot about New Orleans.
I think it's top three.
Well, New Orleans, no yolks or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
It's pretty bad.
I forgot about the Hornets.
We're presented by Bet365. How are we doing our bets tonight, Dev?
That's what sucks.
Probably good.
That's what sucks. Because we had a good night.
We had a good night. Well, that's actually great.
It could have been a great night, though.
But if you told me we had a bad night betting, I would have been even down more bad. But download the Bet365 app. Use the code DNVR365 when you sign up. Choose your offer. Find out why, whatever the moment. It's never ordinary at Bet365. We're also in the Toyota Losers Lounge, driven by your Front Range Toyota stores. Toyota, the official vehicle of DNVR. Nuggets fall 129 to 121. What can you do but laugh? I guess you could also cry.
I'm actually leaning towards crying this time.
I'm leaning towards throwing
a
bottle of beer at the wall.
when the kids say on social media they're crashing out.
Yeah.
There's things I don't understand.
I don't know exactly what that means, but I feel like it's what I'm about to do.
We're crashing out?
I'm crashing out right now.
All right.
Yeah, that's all I hear all day.
Really
That's all I hear all day.
Brendan Vogt was kind enough to join us tonight.
Kind. This is a real reap what you sow show for me right here.
So true.
I like 3 or 4. I'll say it for my big takeaway. At least CHGO was in the house tonight with us.
That's true.
That's actually something
real.
that happened.
That really did happen.
Kevin Kaduk, former head of content at CHGO, in the house tonight. The Bulls start playing well when he walks in. I don't know.
Right when he walked in.
Harrison Wynn's in the building.
The first half was so fun.
It was fun. There was no defense, but you were like,
There
whatever.
wasn't,
They're playing
but
with their food.
we didn't really have any doubt, though, it felt like.
No doubt.
You know?
None.
Yoke was perfect, 10 of 10 at one point.
Yeah.
And then, third quarter happened.
Yesterday. All my troubles seem so far away. Superstar Dev's in the building.
I just can't believe that we have to go through that again.
Yeah.
This was supposed to be not even a response game. You're supposed to just go ahead and take care of business, and you play with your food, man.
Yeah.
It's not right.
Let's do a fast breakdown. It's kind of long, actually. I know it's kind of long. Jokic and CB, insane start. Remember how good those two were together at the beginning of the game? Kind of continued. It does tell the story partially. Next note tells the story. No defense whatsoever. This was a exhibition game. This was an all-star game in the first quarter. Just no defense. Both teams just out there having fun. Looked like both teams were having a good time. Jokic, 12 points, 7 assists, 3 rebounds, 1 steal, 1 block in the first quarter. Nuggets are up 35-32. Non-Jokic minutes got off to a great start. And then Jokic comes back in. We have 3 dunks from Jokic in the first half. He was a dunking machine.
This is from this game, right?
That's from this game.
Okay.
But the Bulls were lighting it up from the corners. They had 6 threes in the first from the corners alone in the first 15 minutes of this game. And then Jokic, 21, 5 rebounds, 8 assists, 1 steal, 1 block, 10 of 10 shooting in the first half. Just dominant. Nuggets up 68-61. And it felt like first half was offense, second half is going to be both ways. That's what the Nuggets do, or at least did when they were rolling. But the Bulls opened the half with a big run, and they tied it up with 2 minutes and 30 seconds to go, then took a lead, and you're like, wait a second. This isn't the script. It just lost the non-Jokic minutes in the second half. And the Bulls were on fire. Jokic was balling. He was scoring a ton, but they were on fire from 3. It was like contagious. The Nuggets made it so easy for him. Everybody was in rhythm for the Bulls, and they couldn't knock him out of that rhythm. It was 96-95 heading into the final frame, and here's where the game was lost. The first couple minutes, it was an 11-0 run for the Bulls to start. Horrible defense, missed transition, missed dunks, and giving up wide open threes. It was the worst way you could start a fourth quarter. P-Watt missed that dunk. I think it was his 3rd fast break that he missed in this game. Absolutely killer plays to take points off the board, and it led to fast breaks the other way. Thankfully, Christian Braun was finishing everything. 3-pointers, shots in contested shots, fast breaks. He really might have been his best ever offensive game. And then Murray finally got it going. He had a jumper that cut it to 4, and that's where I thought the Nuggets were going to win.
Yeah.
But Lonzo Ball comes back and splashes a 3 right back in his face. Zach LaVine gets a 3 with a minute 10, which pushed it to 6. And the Nuggets just couldn't get anything done, man. Absolutely atrocious. Actually atrocious second half from the Denver Nuggets. No defense whatsoever. Let's go to our big takeaways. Red Hawk Roofing big takeaways to be exact. Dev,
Can I go home?
just give us one.
Oh, man.
Where to start, Dev?
Where to start? My Red Hawk Roofing big takeaway in this one was there was not a lick of defense in this one. It is pretty wild that is where it all went wrong. The Nuggets truly, truly do have a math problem. And their math problem, not only did they only take 27 3-pointers in this game, they only made 6. They only made 6 3-pointers. Then you look at the other end. The Bulls made 24 3-pointers.
It's a lot.
And took 53 of them.
That's a gap.
That is beyond a gap. That is insane. But also, when are the Nuggets going to make that change or just try to catch up with the rest of the league where you have to take a lot more shots? I don't care that they're saying that their efficiency is up there if you're not taking as many shots as everyone else. Like, that is where you're trying to play catch up the entire time. And while you can say and look at this game and say they had so many points in the paint, you lose the game because one team is just adapting. That was a wild defensive performance of like not running guys off of the 3-point line, and on the other end could not make anything. That was wild.
2 of 8 from Michael Porter, 1 of 4 from Jokic, 1 of 5 from Jamal, 0 of 2 from AG, 0 of 2 from Julian Strawther, 0 of 1 of Peyton Watson. Like, you didn't get your threes tonight from any. The only guy that made his threes was Christian Braun tonight. He had 2 of 4. I think 27, you're right that Denver can take more. They only made 6. They were 22%. The misses were just as bad, I mean, to me, as the number of attempts. Just nobody could get it going tonight.
24 and 6. That is just so much of a difference from beyond the arc.
It's
insane.
Almost impossible to win a game when you get outshot from the 3-point line that way.
By 50, was it that 54 points? Somebody do the math for me.
Yeah. I mean, how many points did the Nuggets score in the paint tonight?
Like 84?
84.
Right.
Yeah.
They
84.
needed to score like 94.
84 is
If you're going to get outshot from 3 like that.
I don't know if they've had more points in the paint than they had tonight.
It might have been a team
It might have
record,
been a team high this season.
And
Yeah.
you lost.
And you
Yeah.
lost to a bad team.
to a bad team. I mean, my Red Hawk Roofing big takeaway has to do with the defense. This was an atrocious defensive effort tonight. This was a horrible defensive game from the Denver Nuggets from start to finish. You mentioned it in the fast recap. There was no discipline, no effort, no nothing on the defensive end of the floor all night long from really anybody on the roster. Peyton Watson had some moments defensively, 3 steals, 1 block. Jokic did have a couple good steals, but the team defense was so bad. The rotations, the missed assignments, helping each other out. There was no connectivity on the defensive end of the floor. And what was weird tonight to go with that was Michael Malone played a playoff rotation.
Yeah, you're going to take all the big takeaways.
Well, this goes into the defense. They played 8 guys. 8 guys. No DeAndre Jordan at backup center. They treated this like a playoff game.
Yeah.
And gave up 129 points to the Bulls. Like, how can you have any confidence in the defense right now when that just happened?
It's insane, man. I don't know. We got to talk about the 8-man rotation here in a second.
Yeah, I think it's actually more about defense than their shot profile. I do too.
I
actually don't think Denver has a math problem. I think Denver has a defense problem, and they let the Bulls take like 50 whatever threes, and it felt like all 50 of them were open. Like Dalen Terry just shouldn't shoot 3 of 4 from, but everyone was cooking. Everyone was open. You mentioned the corner threes, and they were open. So, like, Denver's offense is fine. I don't really think the math problem is the problem. It's the defense. It's just letting teams get comfortable. Like, there's, you can beat anyone when you hit that many threes. The Bulls don't do that to other teams. The Bulls are not like some roster full of elite shooters, but Denver let them get comfortable, which takes me into my big takeaway, which is that I was wrong. I really thought the Denver Nuggets, after that matinee game against the Wolves, would bounce back, and it's with the urgency and the defense and the let's take this seriously, and they did not. Offensively, it was fine. Again, up at the half, looked like they were going to win the game, but after that Wolves game, I just would have thought that the defense would have shown a little more maturity and professionalism, and it didn't. So, not to mention, it's Zach LaVine icing the game. Porter did not shoot well. Porter did not play well for large stretches of the game. So, for me personally, it's a take my medicine, eat my crow game. I was wrong. But also for the Nuggets, it's just a disappointment and a huge wasted opportunity. You know, I think Memphis lost tonight. Houston went on to win, by the way, so I don't even know about the 2 seed anymore. But you don't look this same thing. This team, give them another 2 games, they might look great again 2 games from now. But just so disappointing because I was so ready to just say Wolves game, matinee effort on the road. It happens, but you got to come out and get this one, especially with the Knicks on the other side. And now you're looking at a really tough one to avoid a real slump. So disappointing, to say the least.
So disappointing, man. My Red Hawk Roofing big takeaway. Do the Nuggets have a tone setter? I mean, Jokic obviously was phenomenal to start this game. It's almost like the Nuggets, this is not a knock on Jokic at all. It's almost like they just trust that he's got him. You know, like he comes out and dominates like, oh, cool, man, he's got us. He's just going to do this. You're coming off, to your point, the worst, most painful rivalry loss of the season to the Minnesota Timberwolves where you got punked. You got punked. You have a little pride, and to your point, you were wrong, but you were right in your thinking.
Right.
Anybody who cares about this stuff would be like, hey, we got punked. Let's come out and set a tone tonight. The tone was set. Unfortunately, it was that this game will be easy, offense only, play defense for 5 minutes, we'll get it done. And a terrible team like the Chicago Bulls is able to light you up. Denver that was an unserious game.
Yeah.
Like a week ago, we were talking about the Nuggets starting to look like sneaky title contenders. They're figuring some things out, but the unseriousness with which they approach this game defensively makes you think like, they give up 133 to Minnesota.
Yeah.
Give up 129 to Chicago. Unserious, man. And the Nuggets need a tone setter somewhere on the roster that sets the tone defensively. It says, hey, we're not doing that tonight. And they just don't have it. And now, a week ago, we were talking about how great everything looked. It's only 2 games, but they're meaningful games. Denver had an opportunity. We thought they would ascend to the 2 seed. Now that looks, as you mentioned, out of the question. And you look at this and go, those last two losses, in my opinion, suck all of the oxygen out of the room that we were standing in a week ago where we were feeling great about the team.
Yeah.
It's a roller coaster year. These 2 losses to me are back down. It's like everything that was built is back down now to square one.
You have to play well against the Knicks. You have to.
Yeah.
And that's a tough matchup.
And part of it is the ebbs and flows of an NBA season. There are these high points and really low valleys that you go to. Like, that's just what happens in 82 games. But, you know, when you've had as up and down of a season as the Nuggets have, like, you want a month of consistency, 3 weeks of consistency, and they're coming off a stretch where they almost had that, but you just want to see it continue. And this loss, it does feel like is a huge step back, especially with the trade deadline coming up, especially with how poorly the bench played in the non-Jokic minutes in that second half tonight. Like, that was a huge killer. And so you're right, man. This loss definitely brings back a lot of the questions we were talking about, you know, before this big run happened.
One question in particular that this game makes me think about, the Nuggets, more so than any other contender, lack two-way players. They have some good offensive players. They have some good defensive players. But your good offensive players, Jamal Murray, Michael Porter, when they're not giving you offense, then it's like, well, what do we do? Your good defensive players, Peyton Watson, Aaron Gordon, no impact. You know, I mean, Peyton Watson made some good defensive plays. He had some huge sequences tonight, but the end result is that they gave up 129 points to the Bulls. So you get stuck in this, like, are we going offense, we going defense? Right. And there's just not two-way options consistently right now that make you feel good about them.
I mean, those two-way options that, you know, you discuss, and also the timing of these losses in a row. You talk about being a contender, you know, quote unquote. But then you look at these type of losses that they're having. Now is like a scary portion of the season because you're right next to the trade deadline. Do you look at this team and say this team has a chance to win it all? Or you look at saying that you don't have these two-way options. You look at saying that you don't, you know, you clearly have a defensive problem. And you're like, maybe make a panic move because you want to try to, you know, do better. So like this is really, I do think that this is a scary portion of just trying to figure out who you are as a team. Because like right now, if you look at this squad, they do not have it.
Yeah. You were talking about the specialists that they have, and it's like you got this guy, Julian Strawther, who sometimes is this offensive spark plug, hits a couple threes, goes for 10, 15 points off the bench, and you're like, man, that's why Julian Strawther's on this team. And then you have nights like tonight when he scores 0 points.
2 rebounds and a steal is what you got out of him in 15 minutes.
And you got a guy like Dalen Terry,
Gosh dang it.
who like came into this league as this
hate Dalen Terry.
uber project, this super raw guy who I don't even know what he's good at, and he goes for 13 points tonight.
Yeah.
You know, and outscores everybody off the Nuggets bench. So, I mean, these are the games where you're like, man, there are some glaring deficiencies on this roster.
Yeah.
And it was highlighted tonight.
Let's put a pin in it. We're going to take a break. We'll get to more of this on the other side, as well as go a little bit deeper and break down what happened.
The official craft beer of DNVR. We're talking Breckenridge Brewery. Local, delicious, great branding, great friends of ours, and they have been since the beginning, really. So this show we do, this bar we run, Breckenridge Brewery has played a big hand in keeping it going from day one. And they want to help get you buy the ice for this Breck Brew Ice Deck giveaway, which is 2 VIP tickets on the glass, complimentary food and drink. This is March 28th versus St. Louis. BreckBrew.com/ice deck to enter. Check out Breck Brew's new West Coast style IPA, Ridge Runner. This double dry hopped brew is inspired by the untamed beauty of Colorado's trails and creates notes of bright citrus and pine. They've got one for just about every location, including a Tough Nuggets loss. Check out the beer locator at breckbrew.com. Tell it what kind of beer you want. Tell it where you are now. It'll tell you where to go next. That's how I like it. Nice and simple with a drink on the other end of the rainbow. Breckenridge Brewery. Check them out.
Also, shout out to our friends at Toyota or Shady Rays. Shady Rays is our favorite sunglass company. We love our friends over at Shady Rays. 35% off polarized sunglasses. That's what you can get with the code DNVR. And Shady Rays has everything. You know, whatever type of sunglass you wear, whatever color, whatever frames you like, Shady Rays, they've got you covered. If you just go to their website, you scroll their website, like you can scroll for days. They have every type of sunglass, every type of shape, color that you could want. And they have a great, money back guarantee. If you don't like your Shady Rays, you can return them. No questions asked. They help you out there with great customer service. I've got like 10 pairs of Shady Rays now with, all the pairs I've gotten from them. So check them out. 35% off polarized sunglasses. You can use the code DNVR, shadyrays.com. 300,000 5-star reviews. Everybody loves Shady Rays. Use the code DNVR, 35% off polarized sunglasses at shadyrays.com.
All right, we're back. You had a thought you wanted to pull on here.
Yeah, I'm gonna call us out a bit. I think we're going a little. I think we're in the feels of this one too hard.
We're crashing out.
That is the show.
No, but I'm saying with the it's I don't think 2 games later everything we were feeling a week ago is dead now. I don't. I think it's a really bad loss. And to follow up Minnesota's effort with that effort is the kind of stuff we've seen all year that's really deflating, that makes it hard to believe in this team. But I also think we've kind of forgot something here we've tried to remind ourselves all season. The lows are really, really, really low with this roster, especially for some of the things we mentioned with the young guys and Julian Strawther. When the bench doesn't look great and the Nuggets don't hit their threes, they're going to get blown out. And it can happen against bad teams. In fact, it keeps happening to them against bad teams. That's where a lot of these math problem games have crept up. That is a problem. That is a criticism of this team. But I'm going to keep the same energy we had a week ago. And I'm not going to go, yeah, you do need a panic trade. Yeah, they do have flaws. I knew that coming into this game. They played with no pride defensively, and they got the break speed off of them from 3, and that stinks. And there's a scary Knicks matchup on the other side. Let's pump the brakes, though, on, no, I think everything we felt a week ago, we were on to something. I think this team has showed us they can figure it out. They are prone to some really, really poor performances and bigger lapses than Nuggets teams we've seen in the past. And it feels like you got the wind knocked out of you. But I would give it another week before we just go, oh, it's all over again. This is a team that's trying to get better at the end of the year from where they were at the start of the year. I feel like they keep getting better. These last 2 games are a huge step back. But I just, as much as the pride on defense did suck, like, what happened tonight was the Bulls hit 25 threes. Like, I don't think
but they were easy threes,
They were, and we've seen Denver do it again, and the defense is a problem, but we've also seen much, much better basketball than that for long stretches. So it scares me. It's disappointing. It's annoying. It's why this team has been so tough to watch, but I'm not going to reverse course on everything we were saying a week ago because of these two games.
I am going to reverse course on everything.
Because that's what we've done on this show all year long. Every 2 weeks, we just go hard back the other way. I think we were right last time.
I think that even in those games that we've been seeing, even in those wins, there's still been a prevalent issue, and it's defense. Yep. They have been getting destroyed. No matter if they win those games, they're still bad defended games. In their last 3 games, the Kings put up 123. Timberwolves put up 133. Tonight, they get 129 by the Bulls. Every game is like track games where they're like you're trying to outscore the team by getting to 150 first. That's not what you're supposed to get to if you're a contender, if you're a real team. Like, the defense has to step up at some point. So even if you win this game tonight, you still are a little bit worried about where you are as a team, and you don't see that changing because you don't have those two-way options. You don't have those specialists that are actually slowing the other team down, and you're needing heroic efforts offensively from Jokic and the guys, and that's just not where it has to be. So at some point, defense has to be the issue.
Yeah, except in that 10-game stretch, prior to these 3 games, they did get it up to the 8th best defense in the league, which is not elite by any means. It needs to be better, but we actually have seen this group play better defense, including very recently. Tonight was not it, and I do think when they take their foot off the gas defensively and when they don't play with any pride, they're going to get their asses kicked by literally anyone in the league. But I think this is a really hard reversal of course from us here, and I think it's a bit too much, and that's fine. You guys can. I mean, like, 4 different people, 4 different opinions. I'm just.
Yeah, but it's a criticism of the people. You're not making a criticism of the take. You're making a criticism of the people.
No, it's not. I'm disagreeing with you. No, I'm disagreeing with you.
Here's the thing.
What are you talking about? This is about basketball.
Here's the thing. I think you have to earn it in life. I think you have to earn things. We're more than halfway through the season, and you have to earn them with good habits. You have to earn them with hard work. You have to earn them with commitment. I agree that the Nuggets have this upside. They have Joker. There's an upside out there to be mined. But at a certain point, you want them to earn the upside. You want them to earn the potential. And unfortunately, you go up against Minnesota and give the performance that you do in a blowout loss in a rivalry game where you kind of get out-toughed, and then you follow it up with a complete pride-less game. It's like this. It's like you're not earning it. So if the Nuggets, turn it on at the very end, there's almost something hollow to it where you're like, hey, but where was the price paid that you have to get this? And that's my point. We are at a point in the season, and it's not too late. The Nuggets still do have this upside to them, but there's a point where it's like you have to start earning this, and you have to start earning it by caring about Dalen Terry going off from 3 and them getting wide open corner threes every single time and keeping guys in front of you on the perimeter. And so that's why I think, like, again, the Nuggets have Jokic. There's an upside there. Jamal Murray can become great. There's all these pieces that can become great. But when you stand here on January 27th and ask, are the Nuggets earning it right now? Are they working towards it? The answer is no.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
I mean, right now, they did just go on this great run. They did have some good defensive moments and games in that run. They also didn't play the best competition. And right now, it kind of feels like last year to me, where we think they have this defensive switch and we think they can activate it.
Yeah.
And last year we thought they had it and they were going to activate it in the playoffs, and they never really did. And that's where my biggest concern lies right now. It's on the defensive end. And, like, do they have it in them to turn it on when it really matters?
And I think the answer is yes. But again, like, there's just something to earning it. You know what I mean? Like, there's something to building. And on top of that, if you work on it now, when you turn it on for the playoffs, the level's higher.
Yeah. But this was just like one of those games where, like, Michael Malone in every huddle before the game. It's about defense. Because if we stop them, we're just going to outscore them. Right. It's the Chicago Bulls. And they had no interest in playing defense tonight.
That's part of also what I think bothers me about this one is it was almost an arrogant performance to me early on in that, like, well, we can do this. Like,
yeah, we're just going to outscore them.
We got it. And they're up 8 at half, and it's like, we didn't play well, but we got it. And it's like, George Karl used to call it playing with the game. You don't play with the game. It's like the basketball gods are always watching kind of quote. Don't play with the game because you never know. Like, these are professional players, and you never know. And that's the point. It's just like the Houston Rockets tonight they have a win against Cleveland, they win against Boston this week. And I'm not saying they have a better chance of winning a title than Denver. I think Denver's more talented.
No, they're doing it.
But they're doing the
Yes.
work right now
Yes.
that you're like, you know what? That's how you build the habits. That's how you build trust.
I
That's
agree.
how you build faith. And again, it's not that it can't happen. It's that at this very moment, January 27th, I'm disappointed in these last two games.
Me too.
Yeah,
Big
I just
time.
don't think
Big
that
time.
they have the same, or we even have the same legs to stand on to believe that they could just turn it on at some point. Like at least last year, we were coming off of a championship title.
it's a good point.
So of course it was easy to be in that like driver's seat of like, we've seen them do it, it's turned around. We just talked about last year, just believing that they could turn on the switch and then it didn't turn on. And that's when you start to like see like, parts of their game that you're like, okay, like that is an issue. You're not going to be able to just outrun guys and outscore, because right now you're building habits to the playoffs. There are not teams that are just blowing teams out in the playoffs by just running. Defense has to be an issue, and that's how every team is winning championships. It's not just a few of them. Every single one of them. You're not going to be the team that just turns it around. So like really there has to be like adapting. There has to be like focus on they're losing to horrible teams that you just do not expect them to lose to because of that arrogant, nature. And they don't have that same hoorah that they had before and the belief of we are contenders. Right now, you're not close to a contending team, so you shouldn't have it. You should really come in with the idea of we got embarrassed last year.
Yeah.
Lost the game 7 ball being up by so much. We have to prove it again because everyone else is treating them just like that.
That I agree with. That I agree with.
The
they have to
eight-man
prove
rotation is also part of what sucks about this one. You play like a 9-man, 10-man rotation, and you're like, well, it's tough. You expanded it. This is a playoff rotation. 8 guys against the Chicago Bulls coming off of rest.
What happened to DeAndre Jordan?
The irony
Why?
of it is I think it was, they're going to spread it out too much.
Oh,
and
they
shoot
play
threes.
small and they spread it
They
out.
spread it out. And you're like, you can't give up threes, but they gave up 24.
Right.
Let's go to the one positive, because there's one huge positive from this game, in my opinion.
One for sure.
This was one of, if not the best Christian Braun game I think we've seen regular season. He had some bangers in the playoffs and the championship run. 28 points on 11 of 15 shooting, and they were tough buckets, man. That guy has somehow figured out how to finish through contact. And then on top of that, we always talk about doing stuff. 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, 1 block. The silver lining to this game to me is that Christian Braun really has made some big impact plays, and especially in transition and offense. When he gets the ball and goes and attacks the rim, I kind of feel like it's going in now every time, which is kind of wild.
Yeah, I mean, he really is playing aggressive. Offensively, he has gotten out of that funk that he was in.
Yeah.
Where's the switch for defense?
Yeah.
Where's the gap? Like right now, he's not making the same impact on defense, but it is good to see him score. This was a great Christian Braun game. Like this is the offensive performance that you want from him, because he's knocking down threes. He's, finishing through contact. He's getting downhill and playing bully ball in a lot of ways. Now you want to see a little bit of both. That's been the whole push for the entire year for everybody. You want them to play a little bit of defense because they have the offense to go with anybody in the league. Once the defense come on, that's when you can say, yeah, that's a contending team. When they could do that against the good teams too. Like he's having these, type of performances against the Bulls and, against those type of, you want to see a little bit of both. And then also for you to just put your head down and say, I'm going to play defense. So while I loved Christian Braun in this game offensively, I wish he made a little bit more impact on defense as well.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, offensively, the story of his season has been like the finishing at the rim.
Unbelievable.
He was not a good finisher at the rim last year, and this year he's mastered it. Like how strong he goes to the bucket and just the control he has, and even his touch has leveled up in ways I didn't expect. Like he had that one tonight where he was like under the hoop and flipped it up with some English off the
Crazy,
backboard.
man.
Like those are shots he had no chance of making last year. So a lot of props to him for just really leveling up as a finisher.
Good passes tonight too. He had a couple really nice ones.
4 assists. Like he played a really well-rounded game other than, the defense, like everybody's being not good enough. But I mean, his finishing, he's gotten to a point with that where he's perfect to play off Nikola Jokic.
He's a Jokic acolyte, honestly.
Oh my God, man.
You know what I think his secret is? is he has completely abandoned the concept of passing.
Kind of.
I'm actually not kidding.
But it's also confident. Like he's playing confident. I think he's more confident in finishing through contact than passing.
I did say it tongue in cheek, but the real thing is just decisiveness.
Yeah, that's a good way.
He just decides, no, I'm taking this to the rim. And then, the guy comes, well, I'll adjust or I'll go through or get the foul. But he's made up his mind as a driver. And, I think sometimes, especially in a regular season, certainly against the Nuggets, which Christian doesn't get that luxury, sometimes you just take it hard enough at the rim and guys are like, I wasn't ready for that, and that's Christian's whole thing. But tonight it was the adjustments and some of the sauce and the finish. That three he hit in the corner that I was so ready to talk about if they had made this comeback.
Yeah, it was big in the pressure cooker.
That stuff is good. And it's a tough silver lining in the against the background of the losses, but Christian's confidence really, he had that amazing start to the season, a bit of a slump. And he's been great again, at least offensively. And it's almost been under discussed how good he's been again since that lull.
If you could draw up a Denver Nuggets 2-guard in a lab to play next to Jokic, it would be Christian Braun, but just a little better 3-point shooting, I feel like.
I think you're probably right. And he had good defensive moments tonight. He had a huge
and when he's at his best defensively, obviously.
He had some good stuff. But I do think his transition is just such a big deal.
So good.
It's like, honestly, it's an impact. Like, if a guy was making 4 threes a game, like some player, would be like, that's an impact on the team. His transition offense is now an impact on the team.
Yeah. It's also kind of revolutionized the team because they're playing so much faster this season. Yeah. And obviously a big reason is Russell Westbrook. But Christian Braun looks to run every single chance that he gets.
I actually think Christian Braun has as much to do with it as Russ. Russ has a lot to do with getting them into offense quickly and transition, but CB just in transition is honestly as good as it gets.
Yeah. He probably has more of an impact on the pace because they're grabbing it and going. They're throwing it up in the fast break that you have to actually get back on defense. And he's not giving you a chance to let your defense set up. He's downhill attacking, and he's either going to finish or get the foul. So I really do think that is a part of the push and pace.
We got to talk about Jokic's game on the other side, and I also want to talk about Peyton Watson's game because I think those are the two next most interesting players. We'll do that after the break.
Have you ever checked out your roof? I haven't. It's pretty high up there. It's really high up there. I'm not going up. I can't see it from the ground. So I hit up my friends at Red Hawk Roofing, Denver's best roofers. They've joined the DNVR team. Quality materials, decades of experience, quick response time. Colorado's best estimators and contractors, huge DNVR supporters. And again, the kicker really, free no obligation roof and property inspections, free in-depth photo reports for all inspections. You just don't know how bad the damage is until you send someone up there. You don't want to send someone up there if you're going to pay them, and it turns out the damage isn't too bad. That's why Red Hawk Roofing makes it nice and easy for you with those free, no obligation inspections. Supporting your local teams also means supporting local businesses like Red Hawk Roofing. If you are looking for a new roof over your home or business, be sure to check out Red Hawk Roofing at redhawkroofing.com or call 720-771-8921 and tell them DNVR sent you.
Also, Red Hawk Roofing hosting the watch party for the 76ers game coming up.
I want to not be nervous about that game.
I know.
Man, that would be amazing.
Friday night, man. Shout out to Toyota, the official vehicle of DNVR. Toyota, they have everything you need. They have, no matter what car you're looking for, truck, SUV, Toyota's got it. They've got trucks. They've got SUVs. The iconic 2024 Land Cruiser, heck of a car. 2024 Tacoma, if you're into trucks. Toyota offers 17 models with available all-wheel drive or four-wheel drive for the Rocky Mountains, like the Epic 4Runner. They also offer more low and zero emission vehicles combined than any other automaker to give customers numerous choices to reduce their carbon footprint. 16 different hybrid vehicles to choose from as well, like the Tundra iForce Max hybrid truck. Check out their SUVs like the RAV4 and also the Grand Highlander. You can visit your Front Range Toyota stores at a location near you. AutoNation Toyota, Arapahoe and Centennial, Corwin Toyota in Boulder, Groove Toyota in Littleton, Mountain States Toyota in Denver, Stevenson Toyota East in Aurora, Stevenson Toyota West in Lakewood. Toyota, of course, is a proud partner of the Denver Nuggets and the official vehicle of DNVR. Let's go places. Shout out to everybody in the Toyota chat tonight.
Nikola Jokic tonight, 33 points, 12 rebounds, 14 assists, another triple-double. I believe, is that 20 on the season? 20 or 21.
Sounds right.
I'll check here in a second. But You know, he was a monster. He's not excused from the defense because I do think he participates quite a bit in Denver's sluggish defense. There have been a lot of games this year where his defense hasn't been great, but his offense, a thing of beauty. 15 of 21 from the field tonight. 6 missed shots en route to 33, 12, and 14. And the assists were incredible. There was stretches of this game where him and Russ, the back and forth between the two of them was as good as we've seen. Monster night from him.
Yeah, another monster game. He was like perfect from the field. He was 11-11 from the field and just dealing offensively where he's getting connections. Like him and Russ are on the same page. Him and Christian Braun seem to be getting that connection back. Right now, I don't know what's going on. Him and Jamal don't seem to be on the exact same page. But it is great to see how Jokic has been offensively of just destroying whoever is in front of him. Back to the defense. He has been horrible on defense right now. Like, this is a really rough stretch, and it really does start with him, where I feel like teams are just kind of, they know, what to do with him defensively. We're just going to just push the pace and just make him guard us or make him step out. We're going to do a lot of switches and get him to some action. And I really do feel like the effort is not there a lot of times on the defensive end of the floor. It is tough because you're asking him to do so much, but you do want him to put in a little bit more effort defensively, especially with these monster games that he's having, because that really is what separates him and makes him like truly a top 5 player of all time.
Yeah. Like Wilt Chamberlain-esque, some would say. Yeah. I mean, you knew a monster offensive game was coming from him tonight. He's going against Nikola Vucevic. He's going against the Bulls. It was Serbian Heritage Night, as predicted. 33, 12, and 14. It was an easy 32, 12, and 14, too. But it's crazy how that's just not enough. Not really on the offensive end, but, he's got to give the Nuggets a little more defensively, as does everybody. So, it's tough, man. 40 minutes from him in this one as well. And
40 minutes in an 8-man rotation tonight. 40 minutes from Jokic, an 8-man rotation.
Playoff rotation, and you gave up 129 to the Bulls.
Ugh.
Like, what are we doing?
There's no polishing this turd. You got any notes on Jokic tonight?
14 assists on a night when your team can't hit any jump shots is pretty effing insane. You know what I mean? Like, it's a little ridiculous.
Imagine what he was doing with a little shooting.
Yeah. There's going to be one night. Maybe this is just the Milwaukee triple-double, and that's what happened. But there's going to be one night where guys just hit all of their shots, and it's going to be ridiculous. Defensively, it's true. I mean, tonight, offensively, 121 should have been enough. But, I mean, look, 33, 12, 14. I'm not going to sit here and rag on Jokic. I thought he was great once again, and there just wasn't enough life around him. I mean, it is true that on the nights when he plays defense in the first quarter or the first half, Denver has a higher ceiling and a higher floor, but I just know Jokic is not going to do that 82 times, and when he gives you 33, 12, and 14, someone else can play some defense.
You were talking about a tone setter earlier. I mean, Jokic can be that guy in first quarters.
I mean, he was tonight again, offensively.
Yeah, but specifically on defense. When Jokic plays defense in the first quarter, I feel like the rest of the team usually follows in his footsteps there. We've seen that on some nights. Again, to Vogt's point, he's not going to do that 82 games a year. I think it's unrealistic to expect that. We shouldn't expect that. But he can on some nights.
I always say that mistakes hurt you far more than good plays help you. Good plays stick out to us. But a guy that doesn't make mistakes but doesn't make great plays, playable. That's playable. Christian Braun is that guy most of the time, although he's starting to make spectacular plays. Peyton Watson tonight, I thought was on pace for a very good night. Because he had a lot of the one guy tonight that stood out defensively in a positive way, he had some big-time plays. He finishes with 3 steals and a block, altered a bunch of shots. 5 rebounds, 3 assists, stuff the stat sheet. But he had 3 plays in transition tonight on a season where he can't finish in transition for some reason that were absolutely atrocious, and none worse than the one where he goes up for a dunk. In that moment, I believe it was the start of the fourth quarter where it was like really, really important. Every basket counts. And you had almost no I've lost confidence in him in transition in general. But when he went up for that one, you were like, you could see it, and you're like, please just finish this one. Misses it, goes the other way, and I think they hit a 3. And it was like those plays, I don't care how many good plays you made, you get 3 of those, absolutely kills you.
Yeah, the part of him being in the game is to try to bring energy, to try to bring momentum. He has like momentum changing plays, like bad plays. They were so loud when he missed, if he misses a layup at a specific time, or, these are like times that Jokic is not out there. So it's important to like try to gain some momentum without him on the floor. He had to miss dunk that like, it was like a transition 2-on-1 or 3-on-1 or something like that, where he misses the dunk, doesn't make the extra play. And then they go back and score another. But, like, it just seemed like those plays are so loud and so, often. Him being the, you talked about, like, Denver not having those two-way options. His is the offensive side. Like, he really is just lacking the offense. Like, yes, he's the Nuggets' best defender right now. You're trying to buy those times, extra time for him to play more minutes. But then he has these type of games or, like, those plays on defense that makes it very hard to, like, buy in on that, because there's a lot of times, like we talk about, like our last game, we're like, how do you find more minutes from Peyton? And then he does something like this and you're like, okay, it's hard to put him out there right now. So he really just has to slow down or just find different ways to impact the game, and it can't be with those missed layups or missed dunks. You got to turn that over.
What are you seeing from P. Watt?
I think Dev's right. First of all, that's the stuff that scares you in the postseason, right? Because defensively, you're like, I can see all the ways he makes an impact. You talk about just the floor of trust in guys in the playoffs, those big moments. Is that just a layup, or does he try to cock it back again and throw it down on someone? Or I don't
almost don't even mind him cocking it back, because I think he actually had to go up strong and get it. It's just the fact that he doesn't finish those.
That he missed it. Yeah, no, totally.
Not even he missed it. He kind of always misses
Kind of
those.
always. And it also, this is so unfair to do to Peyton, because you could do it to several guys tonight, but sort of feels like if you could take just those 3 possessions and change the outcome, you'd have a very different game tonight.
And he did good stuff. Like, there was good stuff in this game.
If he could just clean that up, man, imagine the player he would be.
But that's kind of what I'm getting at, though, is when it's so much is contingent upon Peyton and Julian. Like, you are gonna have a couple of you're gonna have some real blemish nights. You just are. But I do think both of those guys on the aggregate are better than they were at the start of the year. So
for sure,
definitely getting better.
Hope that right. Like, Peyton's just got to keep playing until he's a sure player in those spots. Sure.
Michael Porter Jr. and Jamal Murray, the next 2 guys, and we'll kind of do them both together.
Dude, I just got a trade proposal from a fan for D'Angelo Russell.
We are down. That's the worst we've ever been down.
That's how down bad we are.
Close.
I'm looking it over right now.
Close to out of the woods.
Who do we give up?
Somebody just DM me a D-Lo trade proposal.
Who do we give up to get him?
Porter. I'll stop.
We're down bad. All right, Michael Porter and Jamal Murray. Here's the thing for Michael Porter: 2 of 8 from 3, and like in a night when you're talking about the Nuggets needed to shrink the 3-point gap, the defense was the bigger issue. Porter had some good looks tonight; they just didn't go down. Jamal Murray tonight, he finishes 8 of 20, which doesn't sound that bad. 40%'s not good, but it doesn't sound that bad. But they were late. They were like, he just couldn't score, and that stretch to open the 4th quarter. It's like you just want to have faith that against the Chicago Bulls, you could have him on the floor with Aaron Gordon and a couple bench guys and make something happen. And it was 11-0. The 0 was as bad as the 11.
Yeah.
You want to talk about setting the tone from like the opening tip? Like, Jamal was bad for a large portion of this game, and he has a lot of these games where he salvages it and it makes the night not look so bad, because you'll have a small stretch that you're like, okay, there goes Jamal.
Yeah.
But if you're going to be the starting point guard and one of the franchise players, and you're going to be not good for so long, it just makes it very tough. We ask for Jokic to be Hercules every single night and to play on both sides of the floor. We have to expect the same from Jamal. It can't just be these small stints where he's playing well, and he's playing a bunch of minutes every single night. How are you playing a guy 40 minutes and he has a 2-minute stretch of good basketball? That means 38 is just meh. Can't have that from him. So really, he has to be a lot more consistent. He has to be able to score. He has to be able to put the ball in the basket or become like a primary, like, traditional point guard. Because right now, this in and out just makes it very tough on consistency from the other guys as well. This was not a good Jamal Murray game.
Yeah. And here's one thing I'll say positive about him. Murray really is clutch, whatever you want to say. And as bad of a game as he was having, when the moment I thought the Nuggets were going to win was his shot, because he hit like 2 or 3 in a row that were tough, and you were like, there he is. He just needs the pressure to be super high, and he dials in, which is nice to have.
Yeah.
if it wasn't so bad before that.
I'm not as mad about like his first half because the Nuggets had 68 points at halftime.
Yeah, they were scoring anyway.
Like he didn't have a good offensive first half. It's okay. Like yeah, if he had a good offensive first half, maybe they have 80 points.
Well, I know after the game, Michael Malone, one of the things he said is we should have been up 20 points.
Well, I think he's talking about the defense.
Yeah.
I love it. We should have 95 points in the first half.
Yeah.
Gotta let it fly
That's
more.
one way to look at it, yeah. But the part you can get on Murray for, I think, is the start of the fourth quarter when he's out there in the non-Jokic minutes. And, like, there have been times in this recent stretch where the non-Jokic minutes have been good. A big part of it was Aaron Gordon, who I don't think played well tonight, who, again, didn't really look healthy to me. But the other part was Jamal Murray has had some of these great moments in the non-Jokic stretches recently, too. And, like, that's when you really need him to carry you in that stretch. And the Nuggets got, like, run off the floor, I think it was, to start the fourth quarter tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he played 40 minutes in this game, and, like, the impact wasn't there. Like, Lonzo Ball played 24 minutes in this game. Josh Giddey played 26 minutes in this game. They impacted the game. Like, I really do feel like he should not be on par with those guys. Like, he's a lot better, but the inconsistency is what makes it so difficult or, like, hard to gauge the type of player that he is right now because the expectations are way higher. He's not a Lonzo Ball. He's not a Josh Giddey. So, like, Jamal has to be a lot better throughout the game.
Yeah. Nuggets have to get this win now against the Knicks. Like, this is the thing is the Knicks blew them out by, 40 the first time they played? It was one of the worst losses of the year in terms of blowouts. Tough matchup, circumstance, whatever. But now you have to go into the Garden desperate. They didn't have desperation tonight.
Yeah.
Beating the Knicks in New York would actually be the best win the Nuggets have had maybe this year, but certainly over the last month. I mean, you were mentioning, yes, they had a win streak, but how many wins were A-plus wins? I don't know if they have one. Knicks would be an A-plus win, but also, to your point about not swinging too far, the Nuggets kind of have to remind them. They have to remind us even that they are capable of that. And, there was one game, we looked at the 14-game stretch and we're like, how many are they favored in? All but one. That Knicks game
we
is
didn't
the
like
one.
this one.
And now it's like, well.
Yeah, I was going to say, also, check back in with me if they get their asses kicked, because I may be ready to circle right back to where you were. No, it's just like that. They got to show it in that game. That's just regardless of where you are on the fence of what's possible or not, like they just have to show it in that game.
And to show means defense, because that's a team that'll put points on you.
And that's the Minnesota thing, physicality, the care factor, lopsided in the Wolves' direction. That has been so lopsided in the Knicks' direction lately when these two teams play. Just they play it
Thank
like...
God it's not a matinee.
Dude, I actually... It's a little early, though, isn't it?
No,
That's not a
regular
matinee.
time.
It's just
Regular
East Coast.
time.
You're right. Thank God.
Yeah.
Thank God. But that's... Look, man, I am scared of this one. But the flip side is you come out and you show that energy and you beat that team. It can be a nice stabilizer for sure, but they have to now. They absolutely have to. So it's a tough spot.
It is interesting, though, to your point. I'm not trying to trade guys, but the Nuggets, we are 10 days away or something like that. Maybe a little bit, about 10 days from the trade deadline. Actually, less than that, because I think it's Thursday. Yeah, it's about 10 days from the trade deadline. And now these wins and losses do just signal a little bit more, because you have to imagine, not just the Nuggets, most teams are sitting there thinking, do we or don't we? You go on a little bit of a losing streak right before the All-Star break, that maybe we should becomes a little bit higher. Whether it's right or wrong, it's just natural to look at your team and be like, well, we just lost to Chicago. If you lose to the Knicks, you lose to Minnesota. You start to pile them up. It's like, I don't know.
And right now, I said this in the pregame show, there's a lot of pressure on, Project Dynasty right now, on Calvin Booth's guys, on the bench. Like, Peyton Watson, Julian Straw. I'm not going to say they're going to get traded. I'm not saying that. But if they're not playing well, there's going to be more pressure to maybe bring in somebody to play in some of those minutes. So, like, the onus is on those guys on the bench to play well right now in this stretch leading up to the trade deadline. Like, they've got to if they want to secure their jobs for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
And the Knicks, by the way, have put up 143 points in their last two games.
What a
Both
challenge.
games.
What a challenge.
143 against the Kings, 143 against the Grizzlies. Those are their last two games.
God.
Two
They
teams
ate the
that play
Grizzlies'
traditional
lunch.
drop style pick and roll coverage.
They beat the Kings 143-120, and they just beat the Grizzlies 143-106.
They're a good offensive team, and they'll be
That's
at home.
scary.
By the way, tonight, only the 8th time this season a team had 24 threes in a game. Boston's got 2 of them. Chicago now has 2 of them. Handful of teams have 1. So there you go. We have some super chats. Sickos in the chat tonight, man.
Lots of super chats.
How many of
A
them
lot
are
of
yelling
people
at us?
just yelling at us.
A little bit over 30.
Oh, let's go.
Maddox. Okay, this is a bad loss. Inexplicable. It definitely is.
I'm telling you, Portland. You could throw New Orleans in there, even though there was no Yoke. But Portland, Washington, that's the
You're
holy
right.
trinity of
no,
bad
the Portland
losses.
one was just that they didn't have anyone either.
Hey, bad things come in 3s, not 4s.
All right, here we go. Yvonne MBG
We're
62.
done.
Murray is back. He is so back at being crap. Trade MPJ. He is soft and limited as a player. If Brown can score 28 points with his offensive limitations, that tells me you have no cojones.
I mean, again, it's you got to earn it. The Nuggets need to start earning it because they're running out of time to earn it.
Certainly all what happened tonight, no doubt about it. Cole Bressler. This must be the 2006 Academy Award for Best Picture because I'm fixing to crash. Out.
Everybody is, man.
Alexa, play Marvin's Room on repeat. It's going to be a long night.
Wow.
Also, if you haven't seen it, don't rewatch Crash. It's so bad. It's so bad. I don't know how that won.
What's your favorite story?
I'll never get how it won. Yeah, there's a lot of them. I know.
There's a lot that are like actually pretty
plenty
funny.
to pick from. Peter Duck, if they trade for LaVine, I will call this game the audition. I was very disappointed in PJ, Murray, and AG. Patrick Williams being good was a sign.
Is it Matt Dillon though? He plays a cop so well, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Like, the
It's
mustache.
kinda like the
and
last
everything.
Matt Dillon
If the
movie,
Nuggets
too.
trade for Levine or any Bulls, they better not get Patrick Williams back. I don't like that guy.
Nathan Lawn. It's kind of LaVine was having a bad game too, right up until
know,
crunch
I
time, and he
know.
just buried him. It's kind of crazy. We have to be
I know,
okay
did
with
he
our
play
max
that well?
player having 1 good quarter for every 4 he plays. 3-point defense is causing the math problem.
Yeah, I mean, look again. I just don't accept it. You're right. It's not acceptable. Come on,
Fair enough.
it's time.
Diz, this team has been getting wake-up calls since the start of the 2023-2024 season. I don't think they're ever waking up.
It might be sleep.
They got to become the hunters again. That's what I think will really change the momentum of the season.
That's the main thing.
yeah,
True.
like they just have to have that mentality.
It's so funny. It's honest to God hilarious how consistent Jokic is and how inconsistent literally everyone else is.
Yeah, it's
Jokic's
crazy.
the most consistent player in the history of
Yeah.
It's
basketball.
unbelievable how
And
consistent
he just
he
looks
is.
around and he's like, really, guys? No.
Even last game, just such a rare off
Yeah,
night.
it was.
And tonight he comes out and he's just so
His whole
good.
life is consistent.
Yeah, 5-5-5-5-5-ish. I think I forgot a 5. Philosophical question: is it not Jokic ball to just jack up a 3 even if it's wide open but early in the shot clock? If we can't defend the 3-point line, we shouldn't lean the other way and shoot more.
So there was
Shouldn't we?
one play we were really pissed with Jokic about. Do you remember when he had who did he have just pinned under the basket? And he kicked it out to Christian Braun for a 3.
Oh man, who was it? It was somebody undersized that he could have easily scored on. I don't remember.
was it? Like Dalen Terry? I don't
Something
even
like
remember.
that. I don't remember either. But it was something.
But he had
scored.
it.
Yeah, easy.
1-on-1, like in the paint.
Yeah.
And he kicked it out to Christian Braun for a wide open 3, but CB missed it.
And I think that was in a moment where it was like 6 points.
It was
you know?
fourth quarter.
Yeah,
It was
like-
late.
it was hey.
It was pretty late in the game.
just get
yeah.
a 2, and now we're even closer.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. That was a weird play, wasn't it?
Ayo Desunmo fried AG on defense all game. We're going home in the first round if AG is not a major contributor on D.
Yeah,
I'll take
AG
Ayo at
did
the
not look
deadline.
good tonight.
We actually didn't talk about that too, but there were 2 plays that stood out to me. One, I can't remember. Well, one he gets the little push off from Buzelos, who then dunks on him. Bad look. And then the other one, I think it was like Zach LaVine that
He
drove
got
by him.
blocked. Oh, okay.
No, and just gets a layup, and you saw AG load up to go block it, and it's like, oh, AG always gets that, and he just didn't get. And you're kind of like, man, Rocket's not boosting full speed yet.
There was another one that he got blocked on when he was like trying to back somebody down. I forget who
that's
it
right,
was.
yeah.
And he just had no explosion at
classic
all.
AG back down, usually blows through everybody.
Yeah.
Like,
He's like fading on like turnaround.
Yep.
Like in the
It's
paint that he
concerning
usually
them.
tries to go through guys on. That's where I know something's off. Because it's like fade away.
What about this? Do you think that this is a sign that the rotation that they've worked out, this new starting lineup and stuff, it's like we liked it, we were riding it high, but sometimes it's like just wait for it to crash out. I can't believe we're going to start saying this all the time. Wait for it to crash out and then go back to what you know. Is it time to go back to the security blanket that is your old starting lineup?
I mean, you've been losing, so it's like not.
Well,
when you were winning, it was like, okay, we're gonna ride the momentum. Now that you start losing, it's like, okay, we have to do. There has to be some type of change.
Yeah. I mean, I was a big proponent of sticking with this starting lineup, and I even was tonight, but like I was saying that and then also saying eventually, like, you might go back to Aaron Gordon starting. And so like they did ride this starting lineup, but I wouldn't be opposed to if they, you know, thought about going back to the original one.
Although, is he even healthy, man?
I mean, clearly not.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Post nut clarity. Maybe we have a curse against bad teams.
Oh, man. Maybe. Losing to good teams, too, though.
Yvonne MBG 62. Project bullshit all over again.
Oh, we're
Besides
back. We're so back,
sorry,
baby.
I'm sorry. I got to start over. Yvonne MBG 62. Project bullshit.
Don't make Kale write a report.
Besides Yoke and CB, everyone played soft. Right now, I would trade MPJ for LaVine and DeSunmo. Everyone looked like Golden State Warriors versus us.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
FBCA, 40-plus games, 20-plus open threes a game, the D gives. That's a coach problem.
Whatever it is, the Nuggets are not defending very well at all. Something's wrong.
Yvonne MBG 62. We have a saying in Serbia for guys like Murray. In sports, just like in sex, you don't live on a past glory.
Just like it, yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah, I mean, I've
you're not in Serbia.
I've been working with. You always have to improve. It's like the Janet Jackson song. What have you done for me lately?
I like it, man.
Dev sings that song.
That's a great song.
Druid Trading, AG, MPJ, Jamal Murray, all having a down year. Grateful for CB.
CB's having this was a good CB offensive game, man. I can't believe how good he looked.
Glenn, why do not DNP DeAndre Jordan? I don't like AG at the 5 currently.
Yeah, he's not athletic enough.
I think
for
it was
because
because of the small lineup, like we talked about,
Can't
that
give
the
up
Bulls
threes.
played.
Hussein, paging the so-called steward of the Jokic era.
Is that
Clown
not
face.
knock at us, Kale?
That's Calvin.
Oh,
Post nut clarity. Stop the MPJ and Jamal slander. Post nut clarity. It only lowers their trade value.
He followed up.
Druid Trading. AG, MPJ, Jamal Murray rank bottom 20 percentage in defense this season. Yikes. Booth, stop eating popcorn and do something. Sasha N, we are missing a point of attack defender. Would have been nice to have another KCP caliber point of attack defender.
Yeah, I mean, point of attack defense sucked last year too, so
Yvonne MBG
that's just the
62.
reality.
Trade MPJ for two-way players. Also, I blame Malone. He has no in-game adjustments. He didn't utilize any system without Jokic for 10 years. He is predictable. Murray doesn't utilize the rest of the guys. Cedric exquisite. No, Harrison, this loss feels empty, not earned. We're so close, yet why does winning feel so far away? I actually agree with that part. Vote for you. Is wing or backup center a priority trade move?
I love that. I'm so thankful that this one's for you.
I'll say wing. I'll say wing. Peter Duck, standings wise, things aren't looking good either. Rockets
we
can't
didn't
lose.
talk about this.
Dude, the Rockets beating Cleveland and Boston. Shout out Houston, man.
They're beating everybody.
They're just doing it. They look more than tryhards. They're just winning. Rockets can't lose versus.
Oh yeah, go ahead. Finish the super
2C
chat.
dreams flying away right now.
So let's talk about that real quick. They now are 31-14. The Nuggets 28-18. It's not as bad as I thought. 3.5 games back. It's still doable.
It's just
but
more that you thought in these 3 games you pick up 1 or 2.
we
not
talked
lose.
about it. We were like, here we go. They're going to lose all of these, and we're going to win them all.
Yeah.
The exact opposite has been
That's
true.
probably should have when we knew.
We should have known.
Should have realized it then.
They'll never beat the Cavs and Boston.
I guess MPJ will have to pay for Jamal's sins and get traded for LaVine. Do we really believe playoff Jamal is returning? Be honest, we need a creator in the playoff who makes threes and gets in the paint.
I'll be honest. I still think Jamal is going to return. I hate that I don't forgive him for how he does this, but I still think he's going to be there. I mean, maybe I'm just a fool, but I just still think he has it in him. Like again tonight in the fourth quarter, it's tough and he locks in. There's something about Jamal that he's the world's greatest procrastinator, but he's also the greatest when the clock's ticking. It's like all of a sudden he turns into Superman.
I think he has it in him too. Absolutely, he definitely does.
Shutter Island.
And I don't love it. It's not like a credit to him. I'm actually annoyed of it.
Yeah, it's annoying. That's the problem. Tyler Burkabilly. I'm with Brendan after this one. Disappointing loss for sure, but a week ago we were riding high, saw the championship potential, still have plenty of time to earn it. Josh Barnett from down under. No D-line. Seriously, where is he? Is this his fault?
Maybe.
Probably
Maybe.
typically is.
Dude, the other night I
crashed
knew
out.
I stayed up too late after a Nuggets game because I saw Josh Barnett tweeting about
Crash out
cricket.
lounge.
Really? Hell yeah. You're like,
First of all-
I need to go to bed.
Yeah, could not have any less context for something happening in our language, allegedly. They're like, what are you talking about, dude?
My good buddy, Daman Rangula. You guys know he's a Lakers guy. He was sent a video to me of this one cricket guy, and he's
Yeah.
like, this guy's just the best to ever do it. I couldn't tell what he was doing. I couldn't ignore that it was good.
Everyone knows you can't touch the stump without the ball
man.
with the lights on.
Second most
You're like,
popular sport in the world. You
what
gotta
are
get
you
on board.
talking about? No, it's a me thing.
He's
gotta
like,
get on
just look
board.
at this guy. Look at this highlight. And I was like,
Yeah.
what is about that?
Gotta hit the wickets.
Yeah.
Can you explain
I
to me
honestly
what
could not
makes
tell
it
what he
hot?
did. That was good.
Yvonne MBG 62. I think this whole team has no balls. MPJ, no balls. Malone, no balls to change some things, to utilize the young players more, especially Watson. I do feel like they are utilizing the young guys this year.
Watson played 24 minutes. I think that's his number.
Wait till he finds out about Lance Armstrong.
Booth has no balls to make big changes. We need CB mentality. CB? Balls. CB passes the balls check.
Yeah.
Macaru, KCP covered up so much of our defensive problems that we are seeing now through screen navigation. AL looked like a younger KCP.
Yeah. Well,
Sasha
All right.
N.
all right.
Do you think Malone and Booth is gone if we don't make it past the second round this postseason?
I think
Yes, I think
One,
good chance
at
one, if not
least,
both.
probably.
And just some true propaganda to beat the buzzer from Michael Porter Truther. AG is statistically worse than MPJ on defense this season.
AG has unfortunately had a bit of a star-crossed year, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, the one thing you can say about the Nuggets right now is they haven't...
Was that you?
Hold on. Is that true?
No, I mean, no. Statistically worse than MPJ.
First of all, no, I did not say that. I don't even think it's true. Also, like, what stat? Like, it's.
Yeah. What's
but
that?
I appreciate
But
it.
the point remains that this team, AG is a huge piece of this team, and he hasn't been...
He's had a bad year. I mean,
hasn't been
he's
whole.
had kind of a year from hell,
He's
and
kinda
it's
not
been
had
the
a year.
injuries for sure, but
Yeah.
he just hasn't been healthy, and it sucks.
All right, hit that button. No show tomorrow.
I think that's for the best.
Yeah, probably.
Nobody wants to talk Nuggets for a day, but we are back, of course, on Wednesday to see that Knicks game. You know what, Nuggets?
We'll
got our
be here.
eye on you. We got our eye on you. Don't let us down. Everybody, sickos only. Thanks for hanging out today. Hit that like button. We'll see you.
We all silly like the mayor.